We always put down these 4-foot wide tarps all the way to the work area. This goes into that bathroom and all the way to the door that goes out into the garage. The homeowner removed all the wallpaper before we got on the job, and it all looked real good till I took a sponge and started, I was going to just wash it down a little bit before I got started, and realized that they had left the backing on the wall, so I had to do a lot of extra work there getting that backing and all the glue off the wall. Right here, see it bubbling up right there? That's all still paper and glue from your wallpaper. See how it's scraping up, see how it's bubbling up right there when I wet it? And you just gotta keep getting it wet. And once it gets wet, it lets go of that sheetrock. And then I'll just have to mud. See, if you do this in the future, if you take a steamer, it'll steam that whole piece of paper and this backing at the same time. See, now you're taking off little bitty chunks and you're going to tear up the sheetrock more. See, all this stuff's still got to come off. If you don't, your new mud and your paint and everything's just stuck to this. This whole process of scraping and wiping down and sanding and everything is very time consuming. Eric was in here and just, in this little bathroom, he was in here for 8 hours just getting it ready for me to start. Well, we got the walls all prepped, mudded, and we're ready to blow texture. We got everything all taped up and ready for our next step, blowing texture. Well, we got all the texturing done, and I'm in here this morning fixing to put on primer. I always like to put on a coat of primer on anything that I do on new work. So we're putting on a coat of primer in here this morning, then come back this evening and paint everything. I like to use these little 2-gallon buckets. You can get the 4-inch roller and a 3-inch paintbrush, your strainer and all that, and it's easy enough to carry around with you. Do all my cutting with that, and then I'll take my roller, it's a 9-inch roller in a 5-gallon bucket with a strainer. A little bit more to clean up after you're done, but it's easy to work out of. And here's the walls after the texture. Fixing to put a coat of primer on them. Well, I'm cutting in the top of this countertop, and the wall behind the backsplash is pretty crooked. So what I'm doing is I just put a piece of blue tape, and then I'm going to caulk in the gap behind the backsplash. I'm going to wipe it down and I'm going to paint it. Then I'll pull the blue tape off while the caulk's still wet. And it gives it a real good crisp line. You see right there where well, here's the finished product after a few days of scraping and mudding and texturing, priming and painting. Everything come out real nice. This is going to get a little piece of quarter outside corner on there. But it all come out looking real nice. We did all the texture work in here. Cut it into the vanity. Everything looks real good. Well, I'm here with Bill. We just got through doing some remodel work here at his house. Bill, was you happy with everything that went on here?
I was more than happy. I was ecstatic. You did a great job in the minimum time, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Well, that's pretty good. All right, man. Thank you.